Let's go, girls. Come on.
From New York City to Los Angeles, Powered Up with Beck and Franklin is giving women of all ages permission to live the life they've always dreamed of. Why live in black and white when you can choose the brilliance of 3D and Technicolor? Each week, Sandra, Beck, and Linda Franklin and their high-powered guests will be here to cheer you on, to share their challenges, their successes, and what they've learned along the way. It's all about women supporting women. The stories and practical tips on sex, beauty, money, and so much more are designed to help you reconnect to the powerful woman you are. Fabulous knows no limits. Now it's time for you to expand your boundaries. Here are Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and we're here with Powered Up Talk Radio and I'm here with my lovely co-host Linda Franklin. Linda, we've got a great show today. We're going to be visiting with Joseph Emet. He wrote a book called The Blue Sky, A Mindful Approach to Choosing Happiness Here and Now. And you know, just today we were talking about happiness and mindfulness and quieting the mind. And you know, it's something that took me 2 years to figure out how to do.
No, you told me that, and you also told me now meditation comes much easier for you, where before you were kind of fighting it, and now you just sort of ease into it, which is wonderful.
It is, and I wouldn't have believed 2 years ago that I would be where I am today with a quiet mind and a still mind. You know, I can sit outside and not have music playing, not have the TV on or the kids, you know, everything going. And what's strange about this whole thing is I found that I now start to crave that quietness, crave that stillness. And that's not in my nature.
Well, it is in mine, and I do. I like to be by myself. I love the quiet. Sometimes if I'm home all by myself, there's absolutely nothing on. My husband always has lots of stuff on, so it's good enough that the apartment is big enough that I can like block it out. But I don't know, there's something about just quiet that just allows you to just be rather than have to listen or react or anything else.
Well, the one thing that I find, especially since I work in technology most days, is that I didn't realize that my mind, like any other part of my body, and this is going to sound silly, but needs to rest, needs quiet, needs peace. You know, we talk about working out our bodies and taking our muscles and having we've got to let this muscle group rest for 2 days, and then we've got to let that muscle group, and, you know, we've got to detox from all these things with our body and give our liver a chance to recover. But the one thing that I don't think is prevalent, especially in technology, is the concept of letting your brain rest, of letting your brain just be with no input, no stimulus, no TV, no radio, no talking, no reading. And that was something that was so hard for me, Linda. The first couple times my mind was racing like a freight train.
Yeah, no, well, we've talked about that on other shows, about that constant monkey mind chatter that just drives you absolutely crazy. And, you know, that is one thing that you really, really need to, or all of us really need to quiet down, because no matter how quiet it is on the outside, if it's really tumultuously crazy on the inside, you're not accomplishing anything. You're still in that frenzied state.
It is a frenzied state, and it drowns out feelings. It drowns out emotions. It drowns out a lot of things that we're trying to avoid. And I never realized that I thought, you know, that this type of distraction, you know, even reading for an education can be a distraction.
Yeah, no, you know, it is. It becomes, noise becomes an addiction, and doing becomes an addiction. For so many people that, and I was definitely one of them, but you know, I'm learning to quiet everything down, because I don't want to be addicted to that. I don't want to be addicted to anything. I just want to be in complete consciousness. That's where I am these days. And
well, and that's
go ahead.
That's why I think it's so important that we explore guests like we have today, which is Finding the Blue Sky, Joseph Emet. Linda, you grew up in Toronto, and I grew up in Buffalo. Did you find yourself? I would crave a blue sky. You know, I would sit there with the oppressive winters and the heavy falls and the, heavy, and summer would come and the blue sky would come out, and it would just feel rejuvenating.
No, well, absolutely. The winters are bad. And in fact, New York this week, this is the first, I'm seeing a little blue sky now outside my office window. It's the first blue sky that I've seen since last Wednesday. And you really are affected by that. It's just been gray and heavy. Not so much rain that we really need, but just gray and heavy. And when the sun comes out and you see some blue sky, it changes your whole mood. Plus it warms up your body, which is lovely.
Well, and that's like when I moved to California, Linda, from the East Coast, and I was so excited for these sunny days, and I exhausted myself after 3 months because I felt I needed to make the most of every blue sky, not realizing, it's blue skies out here, 350 days out of the year. But when I saw the cover and thought finding the blue sky, I could easily understand that. I could tell what the book was about to a certain level, because when we look for the light in the darkness, or we look for the blue sky, or we look forward to the blue sky, I think that's something that resonates with us all in our soul.
Yeah, and how about if we can, even if it's really cloudy and kind of ooky outside, that we can create our own blue sky from inside. Now that is the true gift, I would think.
Oh, I'm going to bring Joseph Emet on right now. I'd like him to introduce himself to our listeners. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been listening to you, and you made me think of a mindfulness song. The mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. And instead of thoughts, you can sing worries if you like, clouds if you like. And yes, I totally agree with everything you said about the blue sky. Yes, I'm talking to you from Montreal, Canada, and I'm glad you like the title of my book, Finding the Blue Sky. And I like to work a lot with songs, with mindfulness songs, practice songs, because songs get to be a earworm after a while. You hear a song, and then you think it's over 3 minutes later, but it keeps going in your mind. So I really believe in taking a little meditation break during the day to listen to a mindfulness song, and it'll bring you to a mindful space just about faster than any other way. And those songs you can find on my website, mindfulnessmeditationcenter.org. Make sure the center is spelled TRE, the Canadian way, and they're available for free download. If you click on books, the first book is, of course, the last one, Finding the Blue Sky, and the other one is Buddha's Book of Meditation.
Joseph, this is Linda, and I would like to ask you how you started into this whole realm that you're in now. Was it always a part of your life, even as a young man, or did it sort of develop as you got to see the world through different lenses?
Well, I've dabbled in meditation as a young person, but my practice really got on a solid ground when I met Thich Nhat Hanh, the Zen master.
Yes.
And I spent about a year with him on and off, in retreats. And finally, he appointed me one of his Dharma heirs, and So I shared the practice with a number of people. I organized groups, and I still do. I have a group at a big hospital here for cancer patients. I have another group for stress management, and I recently had a group on wellness. Basically, the subject of the book, Finding the Blue Sky, through mindfulness. And quieting the mind is, of course, the first step. And, of course, the important thing is that the body can't really rest until the mind is at rest, because, of course, they're not separate. I mean, if you start thinking about, having an argument with somebody, your body joins in. I mean, your blood pressure goes up, your heart beats faster, and so on. So in order to truly rest, you need to somehow put the mind to rest. And I totally agree with everything you guys said at the beginning about finding quiet in the mind.
Yes, well, it's not so easy for a lot of people, but it's certainly, and no matter how you do it, I mean, I know that, sometimes people get really frustrated because they think that it has to be perfect, and they have to be in the perfect pose, and they have to be in the perfect place, and they have to, have the master. And tell them that, if you agree with that, or if they can be doing anything that makes them happy in a quiet setting, it does, it sort of accomplishes the same result.
Well, meditation can be a messy business. I think that's what you're referring to. Occasionally sort of finding yourself, involved in thoughts and slipping away from the here and now, it's part of a meditation period, so long as you become aware of it and come back to your breath and come back to the present moment. That is part of meditation. What is not part of meditation is following a train of thought and getting lost in thoughts and starting daydreaming. That's really not part of meditation. So, meditation can be messy, especially if you've got something on your mind and if you've got a challenge of some kind. And that's a very human thing, I mean, the mind goes where the problem is, it gravitates there. So you have to bring it back and gently bring it back and sort of lead it to greener pastures.
I need to take us to commercial break. This is Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin of Powered Up Talk Radio. We're visiting today with Joseph Emet. Now, the book of the hour is Finding the Blue Sky, a mindful approach to choosing happiness here and now. This is really important for everybody listening today. As Linda and I have gone on this journey together, we've invited great spiritual masters to come on our shows from very many different disciplines, because we are seeking peace and happiness here on earth, and there are some things that we can learn from the masters that we can start incorporating in our daily life. One of them is finding the blue sky. When we come back from the break, we're going to visit more with Joseph Emet, and we're going to talk about how meditation can improve our lives and help us find happiness in the here and now.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Thich Nhat Hanh.
According to the National Headache Foundation, more than 29 million Americans suffer from migraines. Women are affected 3 times more often than men. 70 to 80% of sufferers have a family history. This vascular headache is most commonly experienced between the ages of 15 and 55. But a recent study in Sweden found that exercise can prevent migraine headaches just as well as drugs or relaxation techniques. For migraine sufferers, this is exciting news. According to this study, physical activity can be the key to migraine prevention. When you exercise, your body releases endorphins, which is the body's own pain-reducing substance. This is just another reason to commit to daily exercise. Keeping your body fit can also keep those migraines at bay. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond.
Do you ever wonder if you're the only woman who runs errands in her yoga pants so it will look like she went to the gym? Or how about the only mom who feeds her kids raw cookie dough? Or are you the only one who cooks her family cold cereal for dinner? Do you need more laughter and less loudness? More self-love and less self-loathing? More joy and less judgment? You're not alone. Come to the living room, a place where we get comfy, candid, and confident together. Come seeking sanctuary and leave feeling renewed. We're saving a seat for you. Give yourself some living room today.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and this is Powered Up Talk Radio, and I'm here with my lovely co-host Linda Franklin, and we are visiting with Dr. Joseph Emet today. His book is Finding the Blue Sky, a mindful approach to choosing happiness in the here and now. Now, Joseph, when we were going to commercial break, you were talking about kind of clearing your mind. And that's really easy, I think, when everything's going well. But when you have a problem, when you're under stress, or you have like tons of problems that feel like very heavy rocks on your shoulders, do you find that listening to music can help you get into that meditative state quicker? I know if I'm trying to quiet my mind, I put on some music with lyrics, then it's music without lyrics, and then finally it's either ocean waves or silence. But there's a process to get me from kind of one space in mindfulness to another. Do you find that that's something that works for many people?
Well, I'm really into mindfulness songs. One of the reasons why I really connected with Thich Nhat Hanh was that there is a lot of music in his retreat center. People wake up to chanting, and then there's half an hour of singing before the morning talk, and there is singing before the work period, and singing before walking meditation, and so I admired their songs, and then I started writing songs to Thich Nhat Hanh's poems, and finally to my own poems. And yes, if you're in a like something bad has happened, or that's a tough moment for meditating, and a song can really help. For me, it's a song, not instrumental music, because a song engages your mind, both the right side and the left side. The words engage the verbal part of your mind, and the melody engages the other nonverbal part of your mind. So a song, like there's so many spiritual traditions with song, isn't it? Like kirtans are a very ecstatic experience. Some people just get up and start dancing, spontaneously during a kirtan. And so, yeah, music is songs, a source of positivity. It's a source of concentration. It mimics concentration without, you mentioned, like, if something has happened in your life, concentrating can be difficult at that moment. But a song mimics concentration because it sort of invades your mind in a way, and you give permission to it, and pretty soon you're humming the melody, and you sort of become one with the melody. So, yeah, there are all these reasons I really enjoy practicing with songs.
Joseph, do you think that we can experience heaven on earth if we really learn to be conscious in every moment? And if we understand what we choose is so important, and that we can choose the things that are going to get us there rather than the things that are going to take us further away from it.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you're hitting one of my favorite subjects.
Good. One of mine too.
Well, you see, positivity and meditation go together. You have to be in a positive state of mind in order to meditate. You cannot meditate with anger, fear, anxiety. You can ruminate with them, or you can brood with them, but you can't meditate with them. Buddha's own instructions for meditate, he left behind a text, and some of his instructions are breathing in I make my mind joyful. Breathing out, I make my mind joyful. Breathing in, I make my mind happy. Breathing out, I make my mind happy. So positivity is really built into Buddhist meditation. Buddhist meditation is not neutral. It's really slanted toward positivity, and the trouble is that it doesn't come easily to everybody. One way to get there is you can bring to mind an occasion where you were spontaneously happy, spontaneously joyful. Remember something in your life that got you there. And then, once you have this state of mind, you can forget about the detail, the memory, and hang on to that state. Positivity is like sunshine, it warms the heart, and you can stay with that glow during your meditation session. And, consciously practicing positivity is part of Buddhist meditation.
But what about the people that, if you're like Sandra, if you're a single mom, you have 2 kids, you're running a business, you're taking care of your dad when he comes, and you don't have time for it to be a daily part of your routine. Can you is there certain things that you can do if you don't have the time to go into a room, be by yourself, and do an official meditation?
Yes, there is. And this is where the songs come once more. They come in. I think you can take a meditation break, just like you take a coffee break. A song lasts 3 minutes. And you can always find 3 minutes somewhere. If you're at work, put on the earphones, take a break, go to your car, sit down, go for a walk. And if there are people around, you won't stand out with earbuds or an earphone. You'll fit in with everybody else around you. And within a period of 3 minutes, trust me, try one of the songs on the website. You will find that your state of mind is completely changed. If you do that a couple of times during the day, then stress does not build up. That's the thing. If you allow stress to build up during the day, then at the end of the day, you might feel like you just fell off a cliff, But if you sort of periodically refresh yourself with a song, with a meditation break, then that doesn't happen, and you can end up your day feeling as fresh as when you started. Well, almost.
So when you are feeling stressed and you think of this song and you sing this song, effectively what you're doing is you're blocking the crazy thoughts that are going off in your mind, and you're redirecting them to the words in the song so that your mind doesn't have a chance to get you nuts. That's the only way I can think of it. Is that what happens?
Very true. Give the dog a bone so it doesn't chew on the furniture. In other words, you can't stop the mind from doing something, but you can refocus its energies, and you can focus its energies on positivity, on serenity, on a song. And that's how you can sort of wrench it free from thoughts, or from anxiety or obsessive thoughts, or habitual thoughts, or surface thoughts, or whatever. Yeah. And exactly, as you said, that's very true.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and if you do that enough times, you're going to see how powerful you are to turn to something that makes you happy rather than stay glued to something that doesn't. And I think with age that comes even more startling, that you want to be in a happy place, because the contrast to being in the unhappy place is so is so dramatic that, you say to yourself, why would I choose this when I know I can have that?
And there are some unexpected benefits. Research shows that when you're in a positive mood, you see, for example, you see more details in a photograph. You see more details in the background of a photograph. And you see more possibilities in a given situation. Think what that means for a creative and fulfilling life. If someone, say, who's in a negative state of mind is not particularly happy with her life situation, and she says maybe she sees only 2 possibilities, none of them amazing, whereas a person with a positive frame of mind sees maybe 6 possibilities, and she can move ahead. People who don't understand the mechanism would think that that person is lucky. Well, the fact is, when you're in a positive state of mind, the good luck fairy smiles on you more often.
Yes, absolutely. It's your vibration. If you're in a high, good, positive vibration, that's what's going to come back to you. And it really works that way. And when you are in that high vibration and feeling good, you're just nicer. You're a nicer person. You're kinder to other people, and it just sort of, it's a circle of you're nice. You're nice to somebody else. It comes back to you, and it keeps on going and going.
Yeah, and a minute ago you mentioned something else. You mentioned that if you keep doing that, it changes your mindset. And right there you were talking about habit formation. The neurologists keep telling us that, neuroscientists, that the mind is plastic. And that is so true. And you can build new habits. If you do this, for example, taking a couple of meditation breaks during every day, if you keep doing that, within a few weeks, you will notice the difference. It's not only those 3 minutes, but the positivity will sort of inform your day. But you got to give it some time for the habit to sort of become a habit, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it more important, Joseph, to sing or to listen? Or both?
Both. I suggest, of course, the first few times you're going to listen, then you can hum along, and once you know the words, and the words, I try to make the songs, the words simple, like there's no, 11 verses to my songs. There's 1 or 2 at the most, just like a refrain of a song. So they're easy to remember. Yeah, if you sing along, and then you don't need the song. You don't need the earphones. You can, once you know the song, you can sing it. Here's a song from Thich Nhat Hanh's word for getting up in the morning. Waking up this morning, I see the blue sky. I join my hands in thankfulness for the many wonders of life. Say that you put this where you see it as you wake up, and you listen to the song a number of times. Then one day when you wake up and you look at this sign you posted by your bedside, the song is going to come to you all by itself.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
This is for all you.
It's words you never heard.
And you wiggle your ears? Studies suggest that only 10 to 20% of humans are able to wiggle their ears. That's pretty astrobogulous. Astrobogulous is another word for bizarre or unusual. Of course, many animals have the ability to independently turn their ears in the direction of a sound by using their auricular muscles. In humans, ear wiggling is thought to be more of a vestigial feature, meaning it was once a useful trait of our ancient ancestors, but not needed anymore. Some people can't stop wiggling their ears. This rare moving ear syndrome is known as dyskinesia. This can be a pretty embarrassing condition, especially if you are macrotus or have big ears. I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
Get ready to live La Bella Vita with Dawn Catherine on TogiNet.com. Live La Bella Vita. If you're wanting to know all the beauty tricks of the trade and the latest fashion trends before everyone else, this is your show. If you admire celebrities' beauty and their fashion sense, this is your show. Do you love wine and want to know more about the process it takes to make wine from the vine to the bottle? This is your show. Live La Bella Vita. For more on the show and your host, check out our website, labellavitacosmetico.com. This is the kind of show you can sink your teeth into. If you enjoy traveling and food and family, all with an Italian flair, then you can live La Bella Vita with your host, Dawn Catherine. Wednesday nights at midnight, 11 p.m. Central, on TogiNet.com.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
This is for all you.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin, and we are visiting today with Joseph Emet. He wrote a book called Finding the Blue Sky, a mindful approach to choosing happiness here and now. And we're talking about implementing music, song, and listening to music in our meditation. And Joseph has some great songs. One of the ones I was listening to during the commercial break was Happiness Makes You Beautiful. There's another song on his site, Simple Gifts, as well as Peace in Every Step. Now you can find these at mindfulnessmeditationcenter.org, and we can go right back to Joseph, because I think this is really important, Linda. You know, for somebody like me who is so busy and has a million things going at once, allowing myself 3 minutes, like Joseph, you said something, anybody can find 3 minutes in their day to listen. And I just put a note on my smartphone that'll connect me right to your website to listen to some of this music, because even when you sing, I can feel myself calm down. Linda, do you have the same response when he starts to sing?
No, not yet. But I think, like everything else, it takes some time. But I definitely, too, will go to the website. You know, you could just be sitting at your computer and just go there and you can feel your whole body go, ah. And that's what we're looking for. That would be great.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned happiness makes you beautiful. I want to say that once I was traveling in Bolivia, and I happened to find myself visiting a Franciscan monastery, and right at the entrance there was a sign. It said, "The best cosmetic for beauty is happiness." Isn't that great?
That's a great cosmetic. That and a smile, and I guess happiness brings on the smile, which makes you look beautiful anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Joseph, tell us what goes on at your center. Do you do meditations and other things?
Well, right now I offer a course for cancer patients at a major hospital here in Montreal. Yep. In fact, I just finished that course before your thing started. I have a course called Mindfulness-Based Stress Management. That's an 8-week course. And I also see people privately, which is very rewarding to me, because people share, their own challenges, their own difficulties, their own life situations, which you don't always get to the same degree in a group. In a group, sometimes I feel like I'm doing a monologue, whereas in a one-to-one session, it's more sharing, more connection, and that's my favorite way of meeting with people.
I'm going to ask you a very controversial question, because you said you're dealing with the cancer patients at the hospital. And from the work that you do, and karma. I mean, I know the Buddhists are always talking about karma. Do you think that karma has anything to do with bringing on our own disease?
Well, karma is a much misunderstood term, It means a number of things, but karma might basically mean, for example, it's very true that many of us create our own stress by our attitude, by the way we see things. I'll give you an example. One of the assignments I give in my stress management course is for the next week, find someone with whom you have stressful relationships and shower that person with appreciation and compliments. One day when I gave this assignment, one man started laughing and he said, "My mother-in-law is going to be very surprised this week."
Yes.
And another guy who was a
teacher.
Did he do it? What?
Did he actually do it?
Yeah, he did. He did, and he improved. It improved his relationship. And the teacher told us after a week that he tried this with a problem student that he was dreading. That student showing up in the class,
yes.
And at the end of the week, the student's behavior had improved. So.
Yes.
The moral of the story is there is always something you can change in a situation. Like, you cannot directly change a person, but you can change your own attitude and the way you behave. And that, in turn, changes the whole dynamic of the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because everybody wants to be loved, everybody wants to be heard. And appreciated, and if you can just show some of that, it melts the wall in the heart, and they respond accordingly. I mean, I've seen it work as well.
Mm-hmm. So true. Yes. So this is, of course, we're now talking about the Serenity Prayer. May I. Well, the second part is have the courage to change what I can. May I accept what I cannot change, and may I have the wisdom to know the difference. There you go, acceptance, courage, and wisdom. If you've got all three, you've got it all made.
Do you think, and this is Sandra, do you think that, I have 3 dogs. You heard Sally barking earlier in the episode. When my animals are stressed, and I don't know why they're stressed, but I can tell they're stressed, if I sit down and I stroke them and I sing to them, they relax more. Does an animal brain, like our brains, work the same when it comes to, and I know a dog really can't meditate, or maybe they do. Who knows what they do all day. But how does this relate to our pets?
Well, I think you're talking about mood contagion. This is the psychological term. Like a person who's calm and serene. Imagine you're with the Buddha right now. Buddha is right next to you. I think you would be affected by his calm. And, a while ago in the show you mentioned vibes, it's a word we use. It's sort of like a metaphor we use for mood contagion in a way. If you're with an angry person, after a while you begin to feel anger as well. And it's true with joy, with happiness, and with all the emotions, really.
Would you like to sing for us something that we can, at least for me, I'd love to have something that you would recommend I sing to my children. They're elementary school age, Joseph, and they have a lot of energy and they have a lot going on.
Well, I have a little lullaby. I have, but I cannot sing a lullaby to you right now. I'm sorry, but you could perhaps find something on the website that's appropriate.
Is there something you'd like to sing for us today, for our listeners?
Just breathe, just breathe. Everything will be all right. Just breathe, just breathe. Everything will be fine. Just breathe, just breathe. Everything will be all right. Just breathe, just breathe. Everything will be fine. Remember that song the next time you're going for root canal work at the dentist.
Well, the just breathe part, while you were singing, I was thinking that's a perfect song to sing to my kids. We didn't need the lullaby. I thought what you picked was amazing because, when, especially little kids, when they get all ramped up, Joseph, they're like, they're telling you everything after school, and I hear that, and that's always when I hear that sound, that's the time when I know, like, either my friends or my kids are really stressed, they're not breathing, and if we just sang that, like, all I remember is just breathe, just breathe. Linda, you can tell me to just breathe when I call you when I'm in a snit.
Yes, I will remember this. I will not forget to just breathe.
But it's true. We do, I think when we're stressed, we hold our breath.
I came up with that song. I was hiking in southern France once. I started in the afternoon, and I took a side trail, and pretty soon I got lost. And it started getting dark, and the trail disappeared. So I was wondering whether I'd be sleeping under a tree or find my room. And this song came to me. I started first saying and then singing, just breathe, everything will be all right. I mean, what else was there to do? Actually, the original was just walk, everything will be all right. And pretty soon I started seeing some village lights, and everything was, in fact, all right.
I love that. Our guest today has been Joseph Emet. His book, Finding the Blue Sky, A Mindful Approach to Choosing Happiness in the Here and Now. Now, if you want to hear more of these songs, the Just Breathe, Everything Will Be All Right type songs, you can go ahead and go to his website. And there's at least, 5 or 6 different songs on here. It's Mindfulness Meditation Center, and that's CENTRE.org. We will be back next week with another wonderful episode, and we're going to talk about karma, which can be a real pain, and past life clues for current life maladies. Now, if you like today's show, you can check us out on iTunes. You can go to our host station, TogiNet, that's TOGINET.com. You can also go to powereduptalkradio.com and find our show there, as well as on iTunes. Now, when we come back next week, we're going to visit with Joanne DiMaggio. Karma can be a real pain. You're not going to want to miss this. On behalf of Joseph Emet and his book, Finding the Blue Sky, A Mindfulness Approach to Choosing Happiness, the Here and Now, and Linda Franklin and myself, Sandra Beck, have a great week and just breathe.
We're so glad you joined us for Powered Up with Beck and Franklin. Sandra Beck, Los Angeles-based single mother and technology company owner, knows what it's like to be fit, funny, and fantastic in your 40s. Linda Franklin, a New Yorker with a successful marriage and prominent career, is the brains behind the Real Cougar Woman. She shares her wisdom, grace, and laugh-out-loud opinions based on her stellar successes, both in the financial world and in her personal life. Check out our website, poweredupwithbeckandfranklin.com, and join us next week for another great conversation. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, right here on TogiNet.com.